Hello, Tom. Greetings from Canada.
You're Tirana.
I
Tirana.
am. I
I love
am.
it.
Well, you spent
I
you spent
shot a
a
movie
lot.
there.
Yeah, well, I know you have you spent most of your time in Vancouver, which, very
Yeah.
jealous because it's so beautiful out there. Um, Tom, what a performance in this. Wow. I love the fact that we
Oh,
get
come
to
on.
see this side of you. This is very scary, my friend. What
Wow.
excited you most about diving into playing Terry? My goodness.
Sorry, you just made me blush a little bit.
Aw.
Thank you. Because I'm really proud of this because I think Scott, who directed it, really it was very, and I mean this in the best way, it was a very challenging shoot, but Scott, like a great captain, steered the ship in a way that allowed me to focus. And one of the things I liked about Terry that he was a good guy doing bad things for a good reason, and that's
Right.
why I liked the role. Um, and then I think the ultimate result of the film, I don't think Terry saw coming. I think he was doing something for money, and then obviously this whole thing exploded.
Yeah.
But I think a big part of it was, I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but it was the script, but it was really Scott. It was the director because he really protected me and allowed, like, we had things on set where we shot in a Mercedes Benz
Yeah.
and then we didn't finish that day and we had to get him another Mercedes and it turned out to be a different car and that wasn't, it didn't match. And Scott was, I don't know, I'm talking about Scott too much maybe, but
Well, you're
anyway.
being very humble because I have to say, you really did do an amazing job in this. And, it's hard to kind of justify in your mind, I think, as an actor, like when you're, like you said, the way you explained it, good guy playing something bad for something good. But in the end, he's got to be bad. How do you justify that as an actor in your head to make it look like, yeah, this is okay what I'm doing?
It's a very good question. I might over answer it. I think a lot of times as an actor, you put yourself in a corner in a scene and you have to get out of it. Like you have to get quote unquote through the scene.
Yeah.
And so whatever means necessary, especially in this character's case. Um, I've done things before where even though there's not like a weapon in the scene, I've
Mm,
put weapons, like fake weapons, not real weapons, but I've put a gun in the back of my jeans
right.
to give me some levity in a scene of stature. And I think that a lot of times that's what you do as a character. You're trying to get out of every scene really to move the story forward. I guess that's the short answer.
Yeah. And you're going toe to toe with Cam Gigande, who I'm telling you,
Love
this
Cam.
guy, there's nobody who plays intense better than him. Done,
He
What is it like going toe to toe with this guy?
Well, it was awkward at the beginning because I'm a fan of his. Like
Yeah.
I had been a fan of his roles before, and I'm not just saying that. Like I really have. Like when I met him, I was a little nervous, and his intensity on set was palpable. I mean, he would kind of stay in his own zone, and then they would roll the camera, and then he would just go, and there
Yeah.
wasn't really much interaction in between. I mean, he was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like a chatty thing. He was so locked in that I mean, I was a little scared of him the whole time in a good way.
But that's great. That's excellent for
Yeah,
the character too. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's good. Yeah, I've interviewed him too, and he can be intense, but yeah,
yeah.
he's a really good guy. And shoot, you got to shoot this in Rome, like in oh my God, in
Oh,
Italy, like just aside from watching you guys do this, just the background, like oh man, it made me want to go to Italy so bad.
I mean, listen, I'm sure you've been on sets before, and there's a lot of downtime. Most of it is downtime, right?
Yeah,
But when you're shooting in Rome, there's no downtime because you're just
yeah,
turning around and you're like, you know,
yeah.
I felt immersed, and that was the best way to be. And again, talking about Scott giving me the security to just jump into it, it was just it was wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to wrap up. But last question. I commend you so much because obviously
Oh
Smallville is very still close to a lot of people's hearts. People are discovering it. New kids are watching it now because of streaming and things like that. You have a Smallville convention coming up, and I love the
yeah,
fact that you're still
next
buddies with
week.
Kristen Crook, our Canadian gal, and Michael
Yeah,
Rosenbaum. and the rest of the cast. I love
Erica's
that, and I love it for
Erica's
fans.
Canadian. Erica's Canadian.
Exactly. Well, how
Yep.
did this all come about, and how excited are you to have this convention?
I will say it's pretty cool. It's been 4 years in the making to finally get this to where it's just like our thing. We all get along so well. We're all buddies, uh, and it's gonna be a great time. And it's like literally what, not next week, but the weekend after. Yeah, it's coming
Yeah.
up quick.
Well, listen, bring it to Toronto. We would love to have you guys
I
here.
would
So
love
think
that.
about that, okay? For sure. I'll arrange it for you, Tom. Thank you so
Perfect.
much for you for your time today. You really, man, you did a great job in this movie, and thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Tom. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Bye.